My sister's text appeared on my phone before I had even left for work. I'm quitting my job. You'll take care of us while I figure things out. No hello. No explanation. No question, just a demand. I stood in my kitchen with a dish towel in my hand, staring at the screen. I had seen messages like this for years. Somehow, I always ended up being the person everyone depended on. But this time, something inside me changed. For the first time in my life, I typed for simple words. That's not on me. I stared at the message for several seconds before pressing send. Then I opened my laptop. On the screen was an overseas job contract I had been afraid to accept for months. Dublin. A new job, a new life. I had always found reasons not to take it. My parents needed me. My sister needed me. Someone always needed money, a favor, a payment, or a rescue. But that morning, I clicked the button. I signed the contract. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Mom. And what she said next would finally destroy the family silence I had spent 15 years protecting. For most of my life, I believed being dependable was something to be proud of. My parents certainly thought so. At family dinners, Mom would raise her glass and smile. To Lily, she'd say, "The one who keeps this family together." Everyone would laugh. I would smile too, but I knew what she really meant. I was the one who paid. From the outside, we looked like a normal family. We had a nice suburban house, Sunday dinners, football playing on television, family birthdays, and holiday gatherings. But behind closed doors, everything came with a price. Mom would casually mention that Jenna was behind on rent. Dad would look at me when the restaurant bill arrived. My sister would hug me and then send me a message later. "Can you cover my phone bill this month?" Or, "Can you help with rent until next month?" Or, "I promise I'll pay you back." 15 years of this had turned responsibility into a habit. I told myself I was helping because I was a good daughter, a good sister, but the truth was harder to admit. I had become the family's safety net, and nobody ever stopped to ask what would happen if I fell. My sister Jenna had always been the dreamer. She jumped from one creative project to another. She posted motivational quotes about freedom and following your dreams while I quietly paid her bills. Mom always defended her. "Jenna just needs some support, honey. You're the stable one." Stable. That word used to make me feel proud. Eventually, it started to feel like a prison. My boyfriend, Michael, noticed it long before I did. One night, he looked at me and said, "You know they love having you around because it's convenient, right?" I laughed. I told him he was being unfair, but his words stayed in my mind. Quiet, sharp, impossible to forget. Then came the dinner that finally made me see everything clearly. Jenna arrived 20 minutes late wearing a designer coat that probably cost more than my monthly utility bills. Mom immediately smiled. "Oh, sweetheart. You must have had such a difficult week." I poured the wine. Nobody asked how my week had been. Dad simply nodded at Jenna. I sat there quietly, feeling anger rise inside me. After dinner, everyone left. I stayed behind at the table, staring at the empty plates and the receipt in my purse. Then my phone buzzed. Another payment. The family phone plan. My name was listed at the top. Everyone else's names were underneath it. That night, I opened my banking records. I looked through years of payments. Rent, insurance, utilities, repairs, phone bills, birthday gifts, emergency expenses. I had paid for so much that I could barely remember where the money had gone. It wasn't generosity anymore. It was evidence. Evidence of how many years I had spent buying peace. I leaned back in my chair and whispered into the empty kitchen. How much longer am I supposed to hold this family together? For the first time, I heard a quiet answer inside me. "You don't have to." A few weeks later, we had another Sunday dinner. Same table, same people, same family performance. Jenna had quit her latest job. She said she needed to focus on her mental health. Mom looked at her with pride. "That takes courage, sweetheart." I stared down at my plate. Last year, when I took one day off work because I was exhausted, Mom had called me dramatic. Jenna smiled. Her boyfriend, Caleb, leaned back in his chair. "She's building her brand," he said. Then he looked at me. You wouldn't understand, Lily. You're too corporate. The word sounded like an insult. I wanted to ask whether building her brand meant I was supposed to keep paying her bills. But I stayed quiet. After dinner, Mom followed me into the kitchen. She lowered her voice. Your sister is having a hard time. You can help her a little longer, right? Help. That word had become a chain around my neck. I nodded, just like I always did. That night, I lay in bed looking through my payment records again. Car insurance, rent, phone plan, utilities. My own handwriting looked like evidence from a crime I had been committing against myself. Michael called. Are you okay? I'm just tired. No, he said gently. You're not just tired. You're being drained. I can handle it. There was a short silence. Then he said something I would never forget. Handling it isn't the same as living. 2 weeks later,